Good afternoon. My name is Dave Kazork. I am the Division Director of Contracts for the AbilityOne program and a bunch of other contracts. Within GSA, the Office of Shared Services, Long-Term Contracting Division. All right. Slide deck we have here is for APC season. It is about 15 slides. If you have questions, throw them in the chat. I'll make sure I address all your questions. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and kick it off.
David, you'll provide these slides to us?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I'll provide both the BCA and the APC season slides. I'll give it to NIB and Source America, and they can kind of push it out to everyone. All right. Why are we here? We're here talking about APC season because our current format is labor intensive, right? APCs, we have GSA, I think we have 13 contracts with either the NIB, Source America, or other nonprofits, right? 13 vehicles. That's 13 terms and conditions we need to know. We need to streamline. So APC season is a part of that streamline. I'll talk more about contract consolidation, but APC season, right now, it takes the year. There's not a single month we're not doing APCs. And that is impossible, right? There's no downtime. And that's APC, not including BCAs, out of cycles, things that pop up like, you know, the Army taking your display monitors and giving them away to somebody else, the fires that happen every day, all right? Multiple review cycles. Again, we're doing BCAs the entire year. The goal here, and I'll talk more about contract consolidation, we're gonna have one APC season, just one for everything. Right now, depending on who you ask, we got about 3,500 items on PL, GSA. Everything, so all of the NIB, all of the Source America stuff, one season. Why? You have two people looking at it, plus me. So we don't have a team, it's a real small team, all right? Transparency, objective, transparency. In my mind, in terms of APC, I never want to get to the point where GSA, we say, hey, we're not going to approve this price increase for XYZ, and it doesn't make its way all the way to the nonprofit, right? Because they probably want to know, otherwise they're going to complain. That should never happen, right? So if we say something, we send an email, goes more along the lines of communication, open communications, right? Transparency comes with communication, clear expectations up front, what we need for APC season. I'll say the submissions we receive vary by nonprofit. Some are great, some have consistent deficiencies, right? Why? Deficiencies killed my speed. I need it to speed up, right? And again, enhance confidence in the AbilityOne program. I'll point this out because I pointed it out earlier. You could price yourself out of the market. Even though it's a mandatory use item, we all know they shop with GPCs too, right? They still do. If the prices go up too high, I know, like any consumer, they have the ability to shop, right? So, all right, success means less clarifications, less back and forth, speeds everything up. Why? Because I know it's on another slide. It's not just one communication, sometimes it's multiple. So we say, hey, NIB or Source America, reach out to the nonprofit because we need XYZ, and then the nonprofit has to go fetch it from somewhere else. Everything adds time, right? We need faster decisions. Why? Because we have two people. So while each of the nonprofits or the CNA might have 10, maybe 100 people in total, in terms of administrative, we have 3 for 34 to 3,500 items. So I'm not lying when I say we have a real small workforce, but we try to manage it all right? Better data, predictable outcomes. All right. I put 3,500 on there. I think out there it was 34 and change. plus or minus. It ebbs and flows, right? There are hundreds of NSNs every year that have increases, right? Now, just imagine the program's 350 million, depending on what price increases there are, it's tens of millions, right? So just to give you an idea of the scope, APCs. We have APCs all year long. Again, it's a staffing thing. I've got 2 people. They take vacations, take holidays like everybody else, right? Right now, it's tough. It's real tough. That's also not their only workload. GSA, we're doing a whole lot more nowadays with all the executive orders saying consolidate spend at GSA, and you guys can imagine. So this can't be their only workload. So I need to consolidate APC seasons. Right now, depending on what product class you guys have, whether it's hardware, janitorial, office products, packaging products, it doesn't matter. We need 1 APC season. So while maybe you're on a schedule to submit your stuff, I don't know, January through March, we will move you in the future. Everybody will be on 1 schedule. So just know it's coming. There's a slide on it, but we'll get there. Current state, multiple vehicles. Like I said, I think it's 13, maybe 12. It's 12 or 13 contracts in total. Some nonprofits have direct contracts with GSA. And then we have the major DVDs, right? Multiple APC seasons. Future state. This is pretty important right here. 1 vehicle. So those 12 contracts will all be on 1. So we will have 1 consistent terms and condition. We will have 1 way of doing everything. We're going to standardize it. We'll have 1 APC season. We'll have 1 expectation for what we need for BCAs. 1 of everything. All right. Standardized submission requirements, and then consistent review methodology. Regardless of what product class you guys have, it'll be standard, right? Why? Honestly, number 1 is my biggest one, because administration. I don't have staff, so we need to make it as simple, standardize the process as much as possible to make it very simple and faster, right? Forecasting. It's good for us and for you. Nonprofits kind of have an idea of, hey, if this process is standardized and we gave you all of the documentation, okay, we can kind of expect X, Y, Z to happen. Right now, depending on which nonprofit you are, some are great at providing documents up front. Others still a little challenging. There's a lot of back and forth. When we go back and forth asking for information, to be honest, like I said, we're doing APCs all year long. So yours goes to the bottom of the list. It sits in an inbox. In that inbox, we might get 130 some odd emails, all for 1 APC season. And it's every single email is a different NSN. So if we have to go back to you, it just goes back to the bottom of the page. So it's delays and delays. We need to get away from that as much as possible. All right. Common issues. The age of the information is probably one of the, and I know this is a challenge, right? Because your suppliers, they're sending you documents, maybe months, say you're trying to get we'll use yours. Example, price increase, hey, FedEx is increasing the price effective, doesn't matter, June, right? And you might have to sit on that document for a couple months, right? Your supplier, wherever you're buying a product from, says, hey, expect to have price increases of 6 to 15% next year. That's another one that I found challenging, because proposed price increases are not actual price increases, right? I need the letter that says, hey, 8% across the board. We need that one, not the proposed prices, right? Now, sometimes the price increases your suppliers give you are temporary, AKA turn the news on. Shipping costs might go up. Or say, we won't say Ascendant anymore. We'll say, sorry. We'll say SP Richards. SP Richards says, hey, You know, for every parcel, we're going to charge you $2 or something like that. Is it permanent? Is it forever? Is it just a temporary basis? Make sure that document shows it, right? All right, commercial market, well, documentation gaps, supplier invoices. And I know I brought this up. Sometimes they give a range. Don't give us a range. Your supplier might say 6 to 15% projected. Projections will probably get pushed back on those. All right. If your labor goes up, you know what your labor went up. The state probably told you to raise your rate, right? New York State. I live in New York City. I can tell you exactly what it costs per hour per employee. You know that usually well in advance. So if your labor goes up, that's a real number. You can support that. Price increases that do not match AbilityOne. Okay. GSA, we buy a lot of stuff, whether it's corrugated, toners, packaging, hardware. If you sell hardware products, if your nonprofit produces hardware, and you ask for a 50% price increase, and I have a $4 billion contract for RC3, and they're requesting 7%, I'm not going to approve your 50 because it's way out of line with commercial standards, right? Go ahead.
Question on your thoughts on commercial pricing being lower than AbilityOne pricing.
Yep.
Do you see the Made in America push narrowing that gap? I mean, in terms of, are you requesting your commercial vendors also observe those exact same rules? And I mean, we're competing with China, right? So.
Well, I'll tell you this. So the other BPAs, anything on schedules is TAA, right? Required across the board. Mm-hmm. I know you guys are going to BAA, right? A higher level, right? The contracting world, Jeff Kostis is around the corner somewhere. There's a domestic preference. So if you guys can produce something in the US, we can actually justify paying a higher price, right? In terms of contracting, we can do that. But you actually have to make it in America, right? There's a lot more coming on that. Just stay tuned on that. Jeff Kostis commissioned well, they were here this morning, AbilityOne. They'll be putting information out. Just hang on to that. Trust me, I know it's a touchy subject. All right, touchy subject. Do I see other commercial?
I think that gap is a lot less if you compare Made in America to Made in America versus.
Oh, and we're always trying to get apples to apples. I mean, originally I thought it was going to be TA to TAA, but going to TAA to first Made in America, yeah, I know there's going to be a delta. I'm sure of it. All right. Are we pushing other vendors? No, other vendors are simply staying at the TAA. But again, if it's on the PL, trying to get to BAA, we'll talk a lot more about that in a little bit.
So, David, while we're on that, because there are some that we've found, and I believe, anyway, there are some commercial items that we've found listed on Advantage where the country of origin claims is USA, where we know it to be not USA, or a different country of origin that happens to not be TAA. Okay. Is there still that button?
There is absolutely that button.
And I would encourage all of the MPAs and everybody that's in there that if you are looking at your own items and you do see maybe even an ETS or something that you utilize that button as to tackle.
Yep. I'll give you a case in point. Real life example. Literally, it happened on Friday. So GSA, we buy everything, right? So we bought furniture. About 2 years ago, wrote a contract for furniture. $15 million. Well, furniture has a lot of unique little challenges. It has to be made domestically, right? So when we ask, where is it made? And you say USA, Army customer called me up on my personal cell phone, 9 o'clock at night. I live on the East Coast there in Colorado. Said, hey, this furniture looks a little off. Like, okay, open it up, take some pictures, tell me what's wrong. So they start taking pictures. Well, he sends me the photos, and I'm like, it does look wrong. Let me look at this. Well, it looks like it's made in China, actually. So you can't tell GSA. Now, I'm sure you're probably heard executive order, executive order. There's an executive order out there, and we'll talk about it in one of these slides. Don't lie. And I'll tell you what I did on Friday. Took those photos, and I did a little more snooping, And I found that this company has a sister company who imports all the containers from China. And then it's a transfer from one company to the other. I sent that off to the IG. And I sent it off to DOJ. I said, go get them, burn them. Because I also know, I remember this competition because I had to sign everything. That company won out over a company in Texas. And when I Googled a company in Texas, they got 60,000 square foot warehouse. I'm sure they're making furniture there. So if you lie, I will burn you. I promise. Like my life depends on it because it's in the executive order. All right. I'll just leave it there. True story. Happened on Friday. All right.
In a scenario like that, can you send it back and then reopen the bid so the place in Texas could actually win the opportunity? I mean, how does it get handled if it's like?
I am waiting to find out more information. It's real fluid right now.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So just be truthful. If you're buying your stuff, just write down whatever country you're buying it from. Don't say U.S. and buy it from China. It's not going to play this year. All right. Primary causes. Why APCs take so long. Oof. Missing documentation, or just failing to provide it altogether sometimes. I would say communication delays, going from GSA to CNA to NPA to supplier to supplier to supplier. Sometimes the suppliers get right back to you, sometimes it takes weeks. It all drives delays, right? And of course, what are we trying to do? Get rid of delays. Rework. Rework is a challenge because anytime you introduce a delay, remember we have two people, two contracting officers, plus myself, and we're doing 3,400 items, right? So if there's anything that's remotely wrong, we go to the bottom of the line. And we still have those timelines, right? But we have to get things done. So again, try the end result here is we're trying to get to super clean files. Now, multiple rounds of questions, GSA, CNA, NPA, suppliers, it happens, right? It does happen, but hopefully in the future, we can kind of mitigate it. Best practices. Labor is super easy. Super easy, I won't even talk about it. Effective dates. Payroll support. I don't know if we'll ask for it because we kind of just assume if the state says pay an extra $1 an hour, we're going to go ahead and check the box, right? Materials. Sometimes your suppliers say 6 to 15%. We only want to know where it really went up, right? Sometimes we have to ask, send that document over because you give us a proposed, we'll use 3M since we're throwing them out here. They're not here, but they're friendly with us. If they say 6 to 15%, if your product actually went up 10%, don't say 15. Give us the information for 10, right? Just give us whatever the increase was. Market validation. Like I said, we buy a lot of stuff. If you're a tape manufacturer, Cincinnati, I don't know if you're in the building. Cincinnati. If you're making tape, we have 3M contracts for non-AbilityOne products. So I know what the tape increases are because we have 300 million on the side. So we're real friendly with 3M. Majority of the time, if you guys are getting price increases from UPS, FedEx, TL or even LTL carriers, we usually have those letters because other vendors are sending the same stuff. Like we'll have 3 or 4 nonprofits that send the same letter in. We usually have it before you guys send it in, to be honest. If we see increases or if people let us know there's going to be an increase, and I know Amanda and we talked about this earlier, we'll share that information with you because I usually know about it before you guys do. Just because we're not buying just for AbilityOne, my team buys for everybody, right? All right, the goal. Please help me get to this goal. 1 submission, 1 review, and 1 nation. That's it, just 1. 1 submission, 1 review, 1 answer. That's the goal, not 1 submission, resubmission, 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 review, review, review. All right. Objective pricing. Now, brought this up earlier. Today's model is kind of challenging, right? I won't lie. Estimates, forecasts, it's a hodgepodge. Negotiations. We're trying to get to PPI. GSA, we will have a consolidated contract in the near future. Just assume for October 1st, 27. That'd be my guess on it. We're going to go to PPI. Why? Because we know what office products, the average office product increase is. We know what corrugated is. We know what tape is. There's indices out there that we can use to track pricing. That's the fastest way to guarantee standardization across all 34 to 3,500 items. PPI. All right, that's public info. We'll tell you which ones we're using, whether it's IHS Global Insight, doesn't matter. We can tell it to you. It's all public. Well, we pay for that service, but we can download it. Again, the goal here, reducing administrative burden. We need to make it faster. APC season, as we're going with one contract, we're going to have 34, 3,500 items all coming in at the same time. The only way to do it is PPI. The only way. Questions? All right. Fewer disputes, faster approvals. Oh, let me tell you about the PPI. Some nonprofits forget to increase prices, right? And you'll see things that a nonprofit doesn't increase their price for 3 years. And then they'll come in and they'll try to make up for 3 years worth of price increases. It's a challenge for us. This fixes that challenge. That happens more often than you think, right? Using PPI, whether they come in for a price increase or not, it'll be across the board. Products of classes, classes of products, 3%, 4%, X%. All right, predictability. GSA, we're not here to put anybody out of business. So if you forget to increase your price for 3 years in a row, I'm surprised you're still in business. But it does happen frequently, all right? Transparency, again, this information's public, it's out there. Tough one. Buy American Act. If you haven't read the news or listened to the news, there's executive order, an executive order, an executive order. Country of origin validation, domestic sourcing documentation, bill of materials, signed BAA certs, supply chain transparency coming soon. Why does it matter? It's really number one, and it's really number three. So the regulatory was supposed to be there, but now this executive is kind of putting teeth. So when I say I turned in somebody to the DOJ, it's only the second time in 17 years I've done that. First time was because they offered me a bribe, so it was a little different. So this is the second time. But yeah, regulatory, we should have been following the BA from the beginning. Now the executive just reminds us, follow it. That's how I understand it. All right, consolidated vehicle. True story. If you're not working on these certs, start working on them. If you're a nonprofit, I'm looking for it. FAR says fill this form out. Commission may have already distributed it. I'm not sure if they did or not.
Not yet, but
It's around.
It is around, and it has been reviewed. And I'm just going to go out on record and say our nonprofits are doing that. Okay. Both on, so I can Source America in the room now. They were earlier. Yes, I understand that, but I want to make sure that because I will speak for them to say that their nonprofits and NIB's nonprofits are doing that.
Okay. Super important. Why is that important? You got to sign to it. Don't say it's made in the U.S. if it's not. Now, GSA, when we do this consolidated vehicle, we'll collect those. I did tell the commission share a copy with that reason because I don't think they have copies of anything, and we got a Google folder that is a perfect place to just drop all that stuff into. We'll share it with them, but it's going to be one of those requirements. So think for right around October when the contract goes live, no cert, not on BPA. So have it ready. Start working towards it. 3,500 items across all the MPAs. Start working on it.
Are BAA certs like publicly available? like distributor perspective, basically being able to reach out to people who have that certification to get products on contract.
You're talking about within the program or outside the program?
Or within the program. I mean, for us.
Within the program, it
AbilityOne,
should be
it's
it should be the nonprofit.
Sorry, say that again?
I was wondering if there's like a
No,
public.
I thought, I was wanting to say that for us, AbilityOne is easier. That was what I wanted to, that's what I wanted to hear again. That was what I was listening
Okay.
for.
Yeah, no, for the program, just purely for this program, have to have it. Have to have it. I would imagine October, because we're a little busy at the moment. Honestly, I wanted to have this contract consolidation done in March of this year. So we're way past that, purely because of everything else that's going on, commission, executive orders, get it? And then we get busy with APC season, so it takes away the valuable human resources that we have. But again, this slide, most important thing, if you're not already working on it, please start. Get with Amanda or Source America.
Yep.
All right, Executive Order 14215. This is really like an executive oversight, right? Not at my level, but the SESers, they need to have enhanced visibility and accountability, right? Laser focused on agency decision making, right? Are you doing the best thing for the taxpayer? Why are you doing this? Is everything documented? True story. I see it, right? You have whatever you do, supportable, defensible, transparent. This is the challenging one. 14392. I already told you the story, but that's the executive order that says if they lie, push it that way. Look for the news in a couple of months. All right. I won't talk more about it. I'm going to send these slides out to everybody so you'll have it. But again, you can pull it up online and read it. It's a lot longer than this, but essentially, if you say it's made in America, make sure it's made in America. Expectations for APC season. Current data. Again, I understand sometimes the supplier increases, they happen months in advance or months in the past, and you have to hold onto that information. That's okay. Try to increase your prices every year. That's the goal. Don't let it build up, because I wasn't lying. There's a lot of nonprofits that wait a couple years to increase prices. And then we're looking at information that says like 2025 on it, and we're scratching our head saying, what happened? We got to go back into the file. Did you get a price increase last year? Is that what this is? More than likely, that's what it is. Actual cost, if your goods price went up, you'll have it. Documentation. Again, it's the little things that cause delays. So if we have questions, you got to remember you have 3,500 items. That email box that we have, it only holds 100 emails, and then it goes on to the second page. So if we have to go back out and say, hey, Gail, you're missing 2 documents. No problem. You understand. You're missing 2 things. Your email's going to go to the bottom, and then we're going to start working everything else. But if we go to PPI in the future, maybe this isn't a problem. So early engagement. What did we talk about earlier? We talked about expected price increases or future price increases from 3Ms of the world, Gojos of the world. I see those all the time. Shipping companies, we kind of have an idea of shipping. We have a real good idea of shipping things. We ship products that are really heavy. So TL, LTL, FedEx, UPS, we know what the rates are going to change. Keep that information, but of course, when you do submit your documentation, send it in, but more than likely we see it from you, we see it from you, we see it from you. It's the same document if you guys are shipping the same way. All right, certifications. That's pretty simple, just be accurate. Consistent, clear feedback. Now, APC season, GSA, we turn your price, if we say we can't come to an agreement on a price, right, we reject it. The CO will go back and say, hey, go back and try to get a better price for this, whatever that item. Say you come in for 50% increase, we see it, right? Price isn't fair and reasonable. Come back with it. Try to sharpen your pencil. Come back with a price. If you don't come back with a price, then we're just going to reject it, right? But the thing is that clear feedback. A lot of times, we're dealing with the Source America and the NIBs. So if you're a nonprofit and you haven't really heard a decision on your price increases, reach out to the CMA. They will have it, because more than likely you've already responded. It's just maybe they get pushed down to you. Sometimes people get left off the CC line. Some people go on vacation. Communication is pretty important, but I don't want it to be, a nonprofit get upset because, hey, I don't know why you denied my price, right? It's the thing. Probably want to know, and we'll tell you, hey, we denied it for X, Y, Z, and here's our information. We'll give it to you. But just make sure that communication, make sure you guys are working with the CNAs to make sure everybody's in the loop. Now in the future, we're not going to have directs with some nonprofits. We're just going to go to the CNA. So we'll have one point of contact, or a small team of from NIB or Source America have all the info. Because right now, remember, 12 or 13 contracts we're managing. There's a lot of POCs. So we've got the NIB inbox. If you don't know what that is, a NIB request at GSA.gov, you should know it. If you email it, someone will answer you. If you call, we'll probably answer. Everybody's got a phone number. We all answer the phone. Increased communication. There you go. What do you expect from us? If you call me, I'll probably answer my phone until probably 9 o'clock Eastern Standard, usually. All right. Takeaways. Data-driven. EPI, right? Data. It's already out there. Documentation matters. Transparency benefits everyone. Again, I don't want to have nonprofits causing congressionals because they didn't hear back about their price increases. BA compliance, super important. 27, contract consolidation, October. Plan on October. That'd be probably my estimate, because we're already in July, August, September. Yeah, people take vacations. I can't always deny their vacations in the summer. I try, but I can't. And catch a case. Partnership. Now, I know you guys are probably scared about this consolidation. In my mind, I think it's a nothing burger. But I know it's a change, right? People don't really like change. Why do I think it's a nothing burger? Because if we just approved your APC season, we're going to use that same price. We're just going to bring it right over from one contract to the next, right? If you're FOB, well, if it's 10-day ARO, they have different ARO days too. So if you're shipping a piece of furniture and it's a 30-day ARO or a 60-day ARO, you're going to have the same ARO on the new contract. So I don't really see a big hubbub of being concerned too much about that. It's just a contract, putting all 3,500 items on one. What will change? Your APC, the season for APC will change. Absolutely will change. We need everybody on one season. So I can't do APCs or BCAs the entire year. I need to have everybody in one period. So that's the only thing. So if you're used to doing it, I don't know, January through March and submitting it, right? And it goes live 3 months later, that will change. All right. Now this is the end of the first slide deck. I'm going to switch to the next. Again, my slides will be shared with everybody. All right. Just switching from one to the next. Got it. And that didn't work out too well, did it? Stop sharing. Questions from the first slide deck? Amanda, any questions?
You mentioned the PPI. What's the timeline, the thoughts behind that? I mean, is it just a big idea right now, or is it actually?
It's going to be in the new contract, so October. So it's coming. It's coming soon. We're still trying to push APC season stuff now. APCs, I don't want to say they're the bane of my existence. It's just they happen the entire year. And when you go from a group of people to 2 people doing them, and one person takes vacation, it starts to get a little challenging. And then when they're asking for information, 3,400 items, it adds up pretty quick. All right. So just think.
And David, to clarify, when you say what was your answer to Ryan's question? That's Ryan.
October.
October, okay. And you said for which contract vehicle?
Consolidation.
So for we're really saying the AbilityOne.com contract?
The AbilityOne contract, everything on the PL
Okay.
will be on one contract, regardless if it's Source America, and it will probably go through Commerce. Just letting you know, thank you in advance. Why? Consistency. I can reach out to him, he'll call back, he'll answer the phone, and then you guys can divvy it up to the nonprofits, whoever's supposed to get it.
Just some feedback. You talk, and just from an agency, I'm an NID agency. We talk about it's going to be so much easier to consolidate everything into one time. That may not be the case for everybody, because where I have Region 2, Region 7, and they're equally split up throughout the year, now I'm talking about doing 380 price increases one time a year, that I have a full-time person that works on them, right? But that basically takes his workload and jams it into 2 months. So
yeah.
Things like PPI are critical for us to be able to respond, because otherwise we just can't.
Yeah, and I agree. Get them. You're doing the same thing that I'm doing. You have 1 or 2 people that do this, right? You get 1 or 2 for 3,500, and I'm going to jam it in. But the only difference is I may be able to. The team I have is plus or minus 35 people. I may be able to surge some other COs or CSs in to help with the process. And it may only be in there for 2 months or a month, and then they can go to other duties, right? Just to handle the inflow, because we're taking things that we've scattered for at least 14 years throughout the whole year, and we're pushing it into a real small window. So PPI, real critical. Otherwise, it may not work, because you're right. It's a lot of items, and it's a lot of emails. Nonprofit. Well, it won't go through the nonprofits, it'll go through the CNAs. But still, it's a lot. See, I understand that. More questions? All right. Any questions online? Can you guys see my screen?
Pretty quiet here.
That's okay. Quiet's okay. If you have questions later, just email me. Email me the NIB inbox. I'll send the slides out. If you have questions, you can reach out too. All right. We only have 20 minutes for this, but this is an important one. BCAs, right? AbilityOne process, improving transparency, standardization, and efficiency. Why do we need to modernize this? Again, it's in red. Efficiency, right? Efficiency matters a whole lot because I don't have that many people. So GSA, if you're not aware, we used to have regional offices, Region 2, Region 3, Region 6, Region 7. Those offices don't exist anymore. Everything's under New York. So while you guys operate on other timelines, it's really, you're only dealing with 2 people plus me. All right, so we need to be super efficient. We need to standardize everything. Transparency. Ooh, transparency, super important. Again, this shouldn't be a guess game. If there's an issue, you should know about it. I know Amanda earlier shared that she has, maybe it was in an email, estimated or timelines for BCA approval.
Oh, yeah.
We have that. I think I saw it once before.
Yeah, we have it on a case-by-case basis now. In the last year or 2, that timeline has dramatically expanded due to other reasons.
Yeah.
So, but I have historical data that shows what a typical BCA timeline would be.
Okay. Yeah, well, I might update the slides just to show you, and I'll tell you more about the BCAs because previously GSA, when we had more people, we were using Google Sheets, right? We have a better kit now. So everything is time and date stamped. So if it goes to, when you guys submit a BCA, there's the thing called a facilitator, and everything is time and date stamped. So whether Crystalline touches it, or Seth touches it, or I touch it, it's time and date stamp. An engineer tells me which engineer touched it, when he touched it. Was there a comment? Is there something missing? Did he reject it? Did GSA Commodity Management, did they do something? Is it with them? Before we were using Google Sheets and literally just typing in, hey, this went to engineering on X date. That's gone. So now if, Soraya calls and says, hey, what's up with these BCAs? I can say, here, and hit the print button and know exactly where it's at and what the issue is, right? I'll try to share screenshots with you later.
That'll be good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. We'll probably do it on the bi-weekly.
Yeah.
Just to kind of give you an idea.
Mike's up.
Got it.
What's the timeline or hope timeline to get a new product in the system?
It depends, to be honest. Let's get through the contract consolidation. That's a big one. Gotta have that right. But ideally, I would like to say, honestly, I'd be shocked if it takes less than 60 days. Or actually more than 60 days. Shocked if it's more than 60 days. Because if all the documentation is standardized and we're getting a consistent product, you can kind of go ding, 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 ding. And now we have an actual Google sheet that says, hey, time and date stamp, time and date stamp. You touched it,
Things
you touched
also
it.
have to go like to the Federal Register for approval and all that.
Yeah, it'll still go through the normal process, but the GSA process that sometimes took 180 days or 360 days, I think those days are behind us.
I like that.
We're getting closer.
Yeah.
All right, end to end. You may not know how this moves. So this little slide deck here kind of gives you an idea. Now, I know Commission was on here earlier. So they're in between the 5 and 6 lines. Didn't put them in here, but they're in there. They're in the middle. So nonprofit, CNA, you come up with a package. Congratulations. You're going to send it. Source America or NIB will send it to the inbox. The facilitator, his name is escaping me, but he's going to log it. He's going to put it on that Google sheet, which time and date stamps everything. And he's going to say, hey, commodity management, ding, here's your task. Start looking. Now they're on the clock. And when they touch it, it's time and date stamped. If they say yes, it goes to engineering. Engineering, there's not that many of them left, but engineering, hey, if it looks good, you send it to contracting. Crystal and Seth start looking at it. If we approve it, we send it off to the commission because they got to do public posting, right? But the tricky part is it goes back to commodity management again. Why? Because this little word here, picks. Now, if you're looking at Advantage, the only thing that matters to me is that global supply icon on the top left. So if you're looking on Advantage, you see an item that has the global supply, that's my group. Everything else is on a GSA mass contract. I don't care about those. That global supply, we own it. But if it's not in picks, because commodity forgot to check a box in a legacy system, it will not show an Advantage with that little global supply icon. If it doesn't show, more than likely they're not buying. Because I used the analogy earlier, if you go to the grocery store, you don't see anything on the shelf, you ain't buying it, right? So if you have ever had items, heck, we may have things on contract. You can't find stuff on Advantage. It's because that box right there, that picks box is not checked. I wish we had a better widget. We're getting close though to replacing that system.
So I'm gonna do the same thing I did last time and
Yep.
just kind of reiterate
Go
that
ahead.
GSA's verbiage is different than what we're used to. So when David says not on GSA Advantage, for our speak, it's not listed on GSA Global Supply. It could be listed on a mass contract on Advantage from another vendor that has uploaded a schedule correctly.
Does that make sense? Okay. This happens fairly frequently. We usually find it like 6 months down the road when Jason Ennicott's looking around saying, I can't find those calendars.
Yeah, we need a better, and that's something that,
That's a challenge.
That's an NIB, that's an internal post-procurement list addition process improvement that we're looking at as well to help ensure, because again, you had mentioned on your APC slides of low sales
That could lead to no sales.
Yeah,
That's
if
it.
it's not on, if it's not on the major requisition contract and it's not getting sales, so we want to make sure that, that's taken care of, so.
It happens for both NIB contracts, Source America contracts, and all of our other commercial contracts. It doesn't show up online, nobody buying it, right? So I'll give you an example. We had a shredder, NSA shredder, sells about $500,000 a year, came off contract, disappeared out of the PIC system. Sales went down. The OEM's like, hey, what's going on? I don't know. Let me look. PICs. I unchecked the box, so it disappeared off Advantage. How to lose $200,000 in 3 months? Let me show you. That's it. And then after it's done with PICs, it comes back to contracting. Now, yeah, process improvement. That's simple check. Super important. I tell every contracting officer, you shall do this. Why? We did all the work. Let's go ahead and take the success, right? We want the stuff to sell. All right, every organization, so you can see all of these, we're all GSA, right? But these are different teams. Sometimes several teams. Contracting has 3 teams. Commodity, they have one big team now. Facilitator, I don't even know where this person works, but that's going to be a facilitator. In contracting, you just have to deal with us. You got 3 people. That's it. All right. Bottlenecks. Missing documents. Honestly, I think technical questions might be more. Unit of issue questions, where we kind of scratch our head, saying, commercially it's sold as a unit of issue, 1 each. You guys want to do 10 in a box. Or we sell it 10 reams of paper and you want to do 3 reams or something like
There's
that.
a pony pack, yeah.
Yeah, like little things, like we kind of have to, sometimes we have questions, right? Pricing clarifications.
That's the biggest one.
Yeah, and remember right now we are using, for BCAs, it's kind of like a Google search for you guys and a Google search for us. And we kind of meet somewhere in the middle, right? Go forward is we're trying to fix the CMP report, which is the old 4P report GSA was using in the past. The team that manages that vehicle, or that, I guess, XSB information, they're trying to craft or kind of edit it a little bit to allow the contracting staff, because right now the CMP report is great if you're looking for a price for a quantity of 1. We don't sell 1. We might sell $60 million in paper on a single SKU. So we need that bulk price. So we're trying to edit the CMP report to kind of give us an idea of, hey, if we're buying in bulk, what our real price should be. All right, so that's coming real soon. They're working on it right now. They've been working on it for about 3 weeks, maybe a month. But that should help eliminate the pricing guesses, because right now you guys are kind of saying, well, Walmart sells it for this, so we should be able to sell it for this. Walmart prices quantity of 1. CMP report, we're trying to get to the quantity discount. All right, incomplete submissions, BCAs. You're going to remember, you've got BA certs, you've got, a lot of times I see things, and I don't look at them as nearly as closely as 7%. Say, hey, on the original submission, we'll use chemicals. So they refill or fill and ship product. Line labor. How is line labor involved in the manufacturing process? It's in an Excel document. Wouldn't know. But it's in one of the Excel documents. We read that. We may ask you to give us more than 2 words. Refill and ship is probably not enough, right? Give us more information. We really want to know, how did this person make this widget? We want to know, especially in this environment when everybody's saying, is it a pass-through? I don't know if the JWAG was really set up to be a pass-through or a reseller program. It's not like Amazon. I'll get to your question in 1 second. Multiple revisions. Again, I think in the future, if we're using the pricing, this is where I think the revisions are. We can kind of limit those revisions because the pricing is always the hiccup. So if we're using a CMP and we can show you the CMP report, hopefully we can get to that pricing number faster. All right. And I know I'm coming up on time. I've got 7 minutes left. All right. Technical specs. If you say you're using 3M, give us a letter from 3M, right? Here's the 3M spec. That comes to mind because I see it. Pricing, again, CMP report. Hopefully that disappears in the very near future. Because market information. Some of your boxes are fancy boxes. They're like star boxes with foam, right? It's not a simple corrugated box. It's probably not going to get picked up anywhere else in the government, right? Because nobody else makes that stuff. So CMP report, it's not a silver bullet, but if it can get us to 80 or 90%, I'm real happy. Because then we can entertain the unique products, things that are really just made by you guys. All right. Engineering, just to give you an idea, there's 3 reviews. Remember, engineering, commodity management, and contracting. If anybody says no, it's a no at any time. So if engineering says no, it goes away. Commodity says no, it goes away. Just to give you an idea, this is the technical package. Does engineering, what do they do? Is it complete? Congratulations, that's like the easy part. ETS, they will look at everything. If you put an ETS commercial part number on there, they'll actually look at it. Thank God. All right. If they say yes, where does it go? It goes to contracting. All right. Number 1, domestic small business impact. This is the thing. I think it was kind of maybe not as well documented in the past that we're probably going to have to do now. Just know, I know you guys have that information. Share it with us because we're going to ask. So Crystal and Seth, if you're listening out there, just know we're going to have to either do our own homework or ask to see your homework. I used an example earlier. Igloo coolers made in China. Manufacturer in Chesapeake, Virginia. Some kind of cooler. Forgot their name.
Winchester, and it's Newell Rubbermaid.
Thank you. So, just know, domestic manufacturing, we can't substitute it. So if it's already on contract, and that's not necessarily a BCA, or if you're trying to take over a product, if it's made by a domestic small business, probably have an uphill battle. If it's on contract, it's probably a no right off the bat. But if it's off contract, maybe there's a bridge gap where it's not on contract for a duration. Maybe it can work, but if it's on contract, it's probably a hard no. That's why I wrote existing contracts, fair and reasonable. Hopefully, again, that goes away. And commercial pricing, those 2 are kind of the same with the CMP report. I need it to work. So crossing my fingers on that one. If any of those are a no, it's a no. Commodity management. This one's actually fairly easy, right? Does GSA manage the product, right? That's the first problem. First hurdle. Is it a GSA federal stock class? Office product, packaging. Hardware is not a GSA FSC. It's managed by exception. IT is managed by exception. Those will be uphill battles.
Are we still saying no to any exception management requests, or?
I don't think they've given us a yes. DLA has been pretty tight on that, especially with the supply transformation. We're supposed to have a meeting at the end of the month. I'll let you know, because that's one of the things on my mind.
Yeah, I mean, because well, let's you and I talk on that, because I think that we can work together, and because it's going to be mutual benefit for the nonprofit and for GSA to work on that.
IT, they're pushing hard on IT right now, so to the point where they're like, no, we don't want to give you anything. So just know, commodity management, is it in our FSE? That should be a really low hurdle to jump. Engineering, hopefully your package is sufficient. Congratulations. ETS reviews, comes to contracting. If any of them are stopped, it goes away. If not, continues, right? And you got to remember, there's still commission. We still have to the commission. It's on a slide in the back over here. Commission's in there between 5 and 6. All right. What's changing? That internal tracking system, and I know I have 3 minutes. I will give Amanda and Source America some little PowerPoint presentation, or I'll share it with you in the near future. I'm happy with it, and that's a lot. So, standard documentation, CMP reports. We need to make everything standard to make it faster. Consistent reviews. Will the CMP report handle everything? No. Again, 80 or 90%, I'll take it, right? Because then we'll have more bandwidth. Transparent decision making. I don't care who gives you the report. Heck, that's okay with us. We give it to every other vendor out there. So, and again, pricing reviews. That's the biggest hurdle for everybody. All right, best practices. I know I want to open it up because I think I do have a question in the room here. Tips for success. This is the goal, right? First time quality. Going back and forth, I don't want to do it. We don't have the staff to do it. So it's in all of our interest to literally submit it once, be done. But before, I know before submission, you got the nonprofits are looking at it, internal review, CNAs are looking at it, they're validating your documents, confirming your pricing, verifying your technical data, and then when you submit it. So this is kind of, I guess, your internal tips for success. Just review, work with the CNAs. Call outs. There's 4 here, but in reality, I really need the 4th. Right? I need to be super efficient because if you haven't heard, GSA is the one-stop shop for everything in the government right now. So while we have your program, probably heard we have some monster programs called IT products coming at us. So I have 2 people. That's it. All right. I will send these slides out. Questions while we have it? I think we have another minute.
There's one, I know that there was one, I think, on the chat.
1 second. Nothing in the chat.
Yeah, that was just me going out to everyone to let them know.
Okay.
Oh, Brian, I thought we had a question.
You'll have
I'm
slides.
sorry.
Just distribute them out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm around until literally like 6 o'clock. So if you need something, say something.
You open to product suggestions?
Maybe.
Staples, an actual pack of staples. I don't think there's a
We have
American
Staples.
version of staples yet.
Staples are on the.
Thank you,
PL,
guys.
yes.
Thank you, Brian.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And,
All right, thanks.
there's